This is you opening your banking app. You see your balance sitting there, unchanged, looking stable and familiar. Let's say you have $2,000. You stop at a coffee shop, buy something small, and move on without thinking. Then later you buy lunch. Then you pay for gas. Then a few groceries. And somewhere between these ordinary purchases, you notice something unsettling. Your money isn't disappearing, but it feels like it's shrinking. You expect to see like $1,800, and instead you see less than $1,000. Suddenly your money buys less, covers less, and leaves you with a little less room than you expected. That familiar confidence you had in your money starts to feel less solid, less dependable, almost as if the ground beneath your feet is shifting, even though the surface still looks perfectly calm. This is how resets begin. Not with explosions or dramatic announcements, but with tiny movements that most people overlook. And right now, the world is quietly stepping into one of those moments, a moment where the meaning of money is preparing to shift in a way that millions of people will only understand once the change has already taken place. And there is no turning back, so make sure to stay until the end to understand what's happening. Leave a like and let's start. When people hear the word reset, they imagine something loud, something chaotic, something filled with panic and flashing headlines. But real financial resets don't look like that. Real resets are slow, quiet, and almost polite. They arrive disguised as temporary adjustments, strategic updates, stabilization measures, or economic improvements. They arrive through slow changes in interest rates, subtle movements in liquidity, new systems for payments, new forms of digital tracking, new patterns in employment, and new behaviours from banks. And once all these little changes stack up, something bigger starts forming in the shadows. It is not dramatic, it is not cinematic, but it is powerful enough to shift wealth from one group to another, to change the value of savings overnight, and to redraw the entire map of who rises and who falls. Most resets in history didn't feel like resets while they were happening. They felt like normal life. People went to work, paid bills, bought groceries, and everything seemed stable. Until suddenly it wasn't. To understand what is happening now, imagine the entire global economy as a giant balloon. For years that balloon expanded at an unnatural speed. Governments poured more money into the system than ever before. Programs were launched, checks were distributed, businesses were supported, and trillions were created with the push of a button. For a while it felt almost magical. Markets rose, spending surged. Borrowing was easy. Risk felt smaller than usual. Many people felt wealthier than they had in years. But every balloon has a limit. Push too much air inside, and eventually the pressure becomes too great. Prices begin to rise. A gallon of milk, a simple dinner out, a family vacation, a tank of gas. Everything slowly drifts upward until you realise that even though you technically have the same money, it doesn't feel like the same money anymore. The number hasn't changed, but the meaning behind the number has. And once the balloon gets too full, the people controlling the system begin tightening the flow in an attempt to pull everything back to balance. So they tighten, they restrict, they raise interest rates, they slow lending, they reduce liquidity, they try to cool off an overheating system. For a little while it seems to work. Prices stop rising quite as fast. Borrowing becomes harder. Spending becomes more cautious. The economy takes a deep breath. But there is a hidden cost to tightening that most people never think about. If the flow of money slows too much, businesses stop expanding. If businesses stop expanding, they stop hiring. If they stop hiring, they begin cutting. And right now, many companies are cutting faster than ever, not because they are failing, but because technology has learned to replace human workers at lightning speed. Jobs that once required 10 humans now require only 2 humans, and several automated systems that operate non-stop. It is cheaper, faster, and more efficient. And that means millions of people are walking into a job market that is quietly shrinking beneath them. Just a little break, I opened a free Telegram community where I teach how to earn money with YouTube and build channels like the one you're watching. If you want to understand how to do it, there's the link below. Back to before. When jobs shrink and credit tightens at the same time, cracks appear in the system. Consumers spend less because they earn less or fear losing what they earn. Businesses invest less because loans are harder to obtain. Banks pull back because their reserves shrink. Governments worry because their economies slow. And when enough cracks appear, a point finally arrives where those controlling the system must make a choice. Allow the slowdown to continue, risking a painful recession. Or restart the flow of money again, even if it means weakening the currency itself. And historically, the choice is almost always the same. When the system slows too much, those in power push the reset button, not openly, not publicly, not dramatically, but strategically, quietly, and gradually, until one day ordinary people wake up and realize that the value of their money has shifted again. A financial reset is not about deleting money or taking it away. It is about rewriting the meaning of money. It is about adjusting the value of every dollar, euro, pound, or yuan without changing the number printed on it. It is about creating a new phase of the economic cycle where the people who own assets, real estate, stocks, commodities, businesses, rise quickly, while the people who own only cash fall behind silently. When new liquidity enters the system, it does not reach everyone equally. It flows through the largest pipes first. Banks, corporations, investment funds, and asset holders receive the benefits almost immediately. Their wealth grows before the average person even notices that anything changed. Weeks later, months later, everyday prices rise again. Groceries cost more, rent increases, transportation climbs, vacations become more expensive, and those who are holding only cash realize that while their numbers stayed the same, their value shrank without warning. This is why resets are dangerous for anyone who depends entirely on wages or savings. Cash does not rise when money flows into the system. Cash does not protect you during inflation. Cash does not benefit when liquidity accelerates. Cash stands still while everything else moves up or down. When the currency is quietly weakened through stimulation, creation, or digitization, the only people who stay ahead are the ones who position themselves inside the rising flow instead of standing still outside it. That is why in every major financial shift, the rich seem to get richer while the poor seem to fall further behind. It is not always because of unfairness, though unfairness exists. It is often simply because the wealthy own assets that rise when money is reset, while the average saver owns the one thing that stays still while everything else changes: cash. And yet, here is the shocking truth most people never hear. Escaping the downward side of a reset does not require millions. It does not require advanced financial knowledge. It does not require privileged access. It requires one thing: crossing the minimum threshold needed to protect purchasing power. Every reset has a number, a baseline, a floor, a minimum amount required to participate in the upside instead of falling into the downside. And that number, the number most people never think about until it is too late, is $3,000. Not $30,000, not $300,000, just $3,000. Because with that amount, a person can begin spreading their money into assets that move with the system rather than against it. It is the minimum needed to diversify, to protect value, and to stay above the wave instead of being crushed beneath it. Less than that, and the system outruns you. Prices rise faster than savings. Liquidity creates inflation that your cash cannot defend against. The reset begins rewriting value while you remain stuck in place. $3,000 is not a magic number. It is simply the mathematical point where compounding becomes meaningful, where diversification becomes possible, and where exposure to rising assets becomes real instead of symbolic. With that amount, a person can buy pieces of companies, slices of the economy, small amounts of commodities, or inflation-resistant instruments that rise when currencies weaken. With that amount, a person can stop being a spectator to the reset and start being a participant. Anything less is swallowed by the system. Anything more benefits from the system. But 3,000 is the bridge, the threshold, the minimum that separates those who fall behind from those who rise with the tide. And this is why the coming financial reset, the one forming right now in silence, does not have to be feared. It has to be understood. Because resets do not destroy everyone. They only destroy those who refuse to prepare. They reward those who align with what is coming. They reward those who step ahead instead of standing still. And the world is entering a new stage, a stage of digital money, automated labor, shifting power, fluctuating liquidity, and rapidly evolving definitions of wealth. The meaning of money tomorrow will not be the meaning of money today, but that does not mean the future is dark. It means the future belongs to those who recognize the signs and prepare before everyone else wakes up and realizes what has already begun. So make sure to smash that subscribe and like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I also want to remind you that if you want to build a YouTube channel like the one you're watching now and make money from it, I opened a free Telegram community with the link below. See you there or in the next video. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depend on your own decisions and actions.